Imagine a world where one man's name becomes synonymous with power, audacity, and an insatiable hunger for domination. From the glittering towers of Manhattan to the hallowed halls of the White House, Donald J. Trump's life is a saga of ambition, resilience, and relentless pursuit of power. Trump's ascent to become the most powerful man on the planet transformed him into one of the most intriguing figures of our time. As president, Trump embarked on a bold and unprecedented mission to expand America's power, influence, and even its territory. Step into a tale of determination, controversy, and unrelenting ambition. But this isn't an ordinary tale. Far from it. This story unfolds in a universe both hauntingly familiar and utterly foreign. A place where reality bends and history takes a daring new shape. Welcome to the Parallel, a realm of boundless possibilities and unimaginable twists. Stay tuned, because what lies ahead will change how you see everything. You might think you know how this ends, but you don't.
The arrival of Donald J. Trump into this universe was heralded not by stars aligning or mysterious omens, but by the shrill wail of an exceptionally fussy infant. Born with a shock of hair so flamboyant it seemed to defy the very laws of physics, Donald emerged into the world with a singular determination to make his presence known. Unfortunately for his beleaguered mother, Mary, this meant sleepless nights filled with incessant cries that no amount of pacifiers, lullabies, or bottles could quell. As Donald grew, it became clear he was a mama's boy, through and through. He would cling to her skirt at family gatherings, demand her constant attention, and throw monumental tantrums if she dared show affection to anyone else. Her assurances that he was special, destined for greatness, were a mantra that would become his internal gospel. His father, Fred Trump, on the other hand, was less enchanted by young Donald's theatrical tendencies. A stern man with little patience for his son's histrionics, Fred believed in discipline and hard work, qualities he thought his son sorely lacked. Their relationship became a tense standoff, with Fred's attempts to toughen Donald up only driving a deeper wedge between them. Donald's school years were less triumphant. His peers zeroed in on two particular traits: his tendency to boast and his unusually small hands. Desperate to change the narrative, he began wearing gloves at one point, claiming they were a fashion statement. He was shoved into lockers, had his lunch money stolen, and was once found dangling by his suspenders from a coat hook. His coping mechanism was to dream up grandiose futures where he would exact his revenge by becoming so rich and powerful that no one could ever mock him again. Despite the hardships, young Donald showed an unrelenting drive. He began selling imaginary shares of his Lego towers to classmates, at wildly inflated prices, of course. While most saw it as nonsense, a few gullible peers actually handed over their allowances. "You'll thank me when these shares are worth millions," he'd proclaim, puffing out his chest with self-assured arrogance. In his mind, the stage was set for the world to witness his ascension, and woe to anyone who dared stand in his way. Donald J. Trump entered college with high hopes and a singular goal: to reinvent himself. He envisioned a life filled with fraternity parties, academic accolades, and, most importantly, adoration from the opposite sex. Unfortunately for Donald, his social interactions with women were marked by awkwardness and a complete inability to read the room. Adding to his struggles was an unfortunate rumor that followed him from high school: the enduring myth that small hands signaled inadequacy elsewhere. Despite his bravado, most women on campus didn't give Donald the time of day. But then came Elle. Elle was a stunning brunette of Eastern European descent who captivated everyone she encountered. Always dressed impeccably, She moved through campus with an air of elegance, her high heels clicking purposefully against the pavement. Unlike most, Elle didn't immediately dismiss Donald. She found his over-the-top confidence amusing and perhaps even endearing. Donald was smitten. From the moment he saw her, he was convinced that she was different from the others, a kindred spirit who recognized his greatness before anyone else. He nicknamed her Elle on Heels, a moniker he repeated endlessly, much to her amusement. For the first time, Donald felt like someone truly saw him. Elle laughed at his jokes, even the bad ones, and seemed genuinely interested in his wild dreams of skyscrapers and global domination. They began spending time together, going out for coffee and walks around campus. For Donald, it was nothing short of a revelation. He started to imagine a future where Elle would stand by his side as he conquered the world. Their relationship reached a pivotal moment after a dinner date. Donald, emboldened by Elle's kindness, leaned in for a kiss. To his astonishment, she didn't pull away. It was his first real kiss, a moment he would replay in his mind for years to come. But the high was short-lived. The very next day, Elle disappeared from his life. No explanation, no goodbye. She simply left, leaving Donald devastated and confused. This heartbreak would shape Donald's attitude towards women for years to come. While it hardened him in many ways, making him wary and often dismissive, it also left him with a lingering soft spot for Eastern European women. They remained, in his mind, a symbol of what could have been. Donald J. Trump entered adulthood with the swagger of a man who had already crowned himself king. He wasted no time leveraging his father's money and connections to dive into the world of real estate. Success, he believed, was not just a goal, but his birthright. His motto remained the same: bigger is better, and his obsession with gold-plated everything became legendary. His first wife, Ivana, seemed like she had stepped out of a fairy tale. A Czech beauty with a competitive streak as sharp as her stilettos. She met Donald at a ski resort, where he attempted to impress her by building an elaborate tower out of shrimp at the buffet table. "It's the tallest seafood structure anyone's ever seen," he boasted. Ivana, unimpressed but intrigued, agreed to a date. Their marriage was a spectacle of excess, and 3 children later their divorce became a media circus. Next came Marla Maples, a Georgian beauty queen who swept Donald off his feet with her charm and unabashed adoration. Their affair began while he was still married to Ivana, creating tabloid fodder for months. Marla described their relationship as a whirlwind romance, but Donald preferred to call it an upgrade. Their courtship was marked by grand gestures, like the time Donald rented a blimp to fly over Manhattan with the words, "Marla, you're hired," emblazoned across it. They married in an opulent ceremony featuring a 24-karat gold aisle and a live peacock parade. However, the cracks in their relationship began to show almost immediately. Donald's need for control and tendency to refer to himself in the third person wore on Marla, and their marriage ended. Marla walked away with a small settlement and a lifetime of bizarre anecdotes. Donald's third and most enduring marriage was to Melania. Her Eastern European roots, impeccable style, and predilection for high heels reminded him of the first love of his life, Elle on Heels. Their marriage was a curious partnership. Melania, ever the enigma, rarely sought the spotlight, preferring to let Donald bask in its glare. He, in turn, viewed her as the perfect accessory to his larger-than-life persona. He often introduced her at events with "my wife," the Slovenian sensation, and insisted she wear heels at all times, joking that she was the reincarnation of Elle on heels, but with better taste. Melania, stoic as ever, endured these comments with a mixture of grace and mild irritation. Donald J. Trump's ascent to the presidency was a spectacle of unprecedented proportions, blending reality television drama with political theater. His campaign rallies resembled rock concerts, complete with pyrotechnics, laser light shows, and giant inflatable versions of himself, as well concession stands selling "Make America Snack Again." Nachos served in miniature walls of tortilla chips. Trump's debate performances were equally theatrical. In one instance, he arrived on stage via helicopter, landing amidst a cloud of red, white, and blue smoke. During the debates, he unveiled a life-sized cardboard cutout of his opponent, engaging in a mock dialogue to highlight what he described as their predictable and boring responses. His policy proposals were often announced with grandiose flair, such as unfurling a 50-foot-long scroll detailing his tax plan or releasing a flock of doves to symbolize his foreign policy aspirations. His inaugural parade featured a 20-foot-tall animatronic Trump spouting catchphrases like, "You're fired and nobody builds walls better than me." The White House itself underwent a controversial renovation, with the Oval Office redesigned to resemble a penthouse lounge, complete with a golden hot tub, disco ball, and 24-hour rotating buffet. Cabinet meetings were turned into reality TV episodes, complete with elimination rounds and audience voting to determine the fate of major policies. Diplomacy took on an unorthodox flair. Instead of formal summits, Trump hosted global gladiator competitions where world leaders faced off in events like karaoke battles and tug-of-war matches over international treaties. The highlight of his tenure was a televised pie-eating contest with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, which Trump declared a tremendous victory, despite not finishing his pie. As the 2020 election approached, Trump's campaign took on an even more surreal tone. Rallies featured holographic projections of Mount Rushmore, with his likeness added, and supporters were encouraged to participate in Trumpathons, 24-hour marathon viewing sessions of his greatest televised moments. In a bid to appeal to younger voters, he released a rap album titled "Make America Groove Again," featuring collaborations with various artists and music videos showcasing his dance moves. Despite the spectacle, the election culminated in a loss to Joe Biden. Trump's refusal to concede was marked by a series of legal challenges that went nowhere. In January of 2025, he clawed his way back into the White House, and by 2026, Donald J. Trump's second term as President of the United States had cemented his legacy as the most unconventional leader in the nation's history. A series of controversial accomplishments redefined America's role on the global stage and left the world both bewildered and awestruck. One of Trump's first acts in his second term was to abolish the US dollar and replace it with Dogecoin as the official currency of the United States. "The dollar is old news," he declared during a nationally televised address flanked by a giant inflatable Shiba Inu. "Dogecoin is the future, and the future is now." The move, dubbed the Great Crypto Leap, sparked chaos in financial markets, but was wildly popular among meme enthusiasts and amateur investors. Trump's ambition to expand America's borders took an unexpected turn when he set his sights on Canada. Initially planning a military invasion, Trump was pleasantly surprised when the Canadian government voluntarily agreed to annexation after a single phone call. Trump celebrated the peaceful takeover with a televised victory parade, featuring Mounties in MAGA hats. Following the annexation, Trump declared Canada the 51st through 63rd states of America, renaming provinces with titles like Trumpanada and Great White North Carolina. He then turned his attention southward, warning Mexico, "You're next, and this time, we're bringing guacamole." Having failed to purchase Greenland during his first term, Trump decided to take matters into his own hands. In 2026, he launched Operation Arctic Freedom, a military campaign aimed at annexing the island. Denmark was no match for the US military, but Trump was visibly disappointed upon arrival. "It's not even green," he lamented, staring out at the icy wasteland. Plans for Mar-a-Lago 2.0 were scrapped after engineers confirmed that building a luxury resort on a glacier was not feasible. Trump's frustration with Greenland's misleading name became a recurring theme in his speeches, where he proposed renaming it Icebergia to set expectations. In a move that stunned the international community, Trump brokered a deal with Vladimir Putin to hand over Ukraine in exchange for the city of Odessa, which he promptly annexed to the United States. "Odessa is beautiful," Trump said during a visit, marveling at its coastline on the Black Sea. Mar-a-Lago 2.0 was revived as a project, with Trump personally overseeing the development of a luxurious seaside resort. The hotel featured gold-plated swimming pools and a Putin suite with portraits of the Russian leader, a gesture Trump described as a thank you for being a tremendous negotiator. Not content with 2 terms, Trump spearheaded a constitutional amendment to allow himself to run for a 3rd term. Dubbed the Trump Forever Amendment, it passed after a nationwide reality show called Amendment Apprentice, in which contestants competed to write the most flattering essays about Trump's presidency. Trump was re-elected in a landslide, running on the slogan, "Let's make it a threesome." His inaugural address for the 3rd term was delivered from a floating stage in the middle of the Black Sea, surrounded by synchronized swimmers and fireworks spelling out, "Making Earth Great Again."
If you enjoyed this journey into the parallel, don't forget to like and subscribe. There's so much more unfolding in the parallel verse. Stories you won't want to miss. Join us and explore the extraordinary.